Financial stability and financial goals are two primary motivations for saving. Feeling secure in one's capacity to handle unforeseen expenses, save for retirement, and maintain a desirable lifestyle gives a great feeling of confidence to many people. Goals are a great way to focus on the future and limit your spending habits so that you can save more. The more money you have to save, either from reduced expenses or increased income, the faster you can move toward accumulating your first $100,000 for any goal you may have in mind. And after you've done that, the path to the next $100,000 will be much less difficult. Making fortune is often a long process, especially when you're just starting out. In fact, for most individuals, earning their first $100,000 is one of the most challenging milestones to achieve. There is no one statement that more accurately captures the emotional and practical challenges faced by the typical person as they strive to provide a better life for their loved ones. Charlie Munger, Vice Chairman of Berkshire Hathaway and one of the world's richest persons with a fortune of roughly $2.2 billion as of November 2021, is credited as the guy of this successful investment strategy. He says that the first $100,000 is the toughest to earn.
The hard part of the process for most people is the first $100,000. Getting together $100,000 is a long struggle for most people. And I would argue that the people who get there relatively quickly are helped if they're passionate about being rational, very eager and opportunistic, and underspend their income. I think those three factors are very helpful.
But it's not just him. Many others who have gained their fortune think the same thing. And the same thing is commonly expressed about reaching the $1 million mark. Once you've made $100,000, the next $100,000 seems to come considerably more quickly. So when will you hit that milestone? And why does it matter? Here's everything you need to know. No mountain gets climbed without taking that first, then second, then third step, so on and so forth. This needs belief. The moment you convince yourself that you can do anything, you will find that you really can. Once you eventually start building and rolling a snowball, things move along. The most important thing is to get started. Don't doubt your ability to do so. Create a business strategy that details your financial goals and the steps you will take to achieve them. Then get to work on it. As Maya Angelou said, nothing works unless you do. So get started working. One hurdle that many people have is getting started with investing. Investing may not seem a necessity at the time, but put it off long enough and you'll be wondering what you did wrong when it comes time to retire. Just think about how many of your friends and family members might begin investing if they had more money. When their income increases, they plan to begin making investments. Putting off investing until you have more money is like waiting for a fire to get going before adding wood to it. In other words, you don't invest because you're flush with cash, but rather because you want to increase your financial standing.
At the end of my first 13 years of law practice, I had more liquid investments than I'd made in all those years of law practice pre-tax. I'd done that in my spare time with these little tiny sums. So it was natural for me, partly prompted by Warren Buffett's success, to think I should just start working for myself instead of for other people.
Most of us also have a friend or colleague who, for whatever reason, thinks investing is too risky, and as a result, doesn't do it at all. It's easy to put anything off till later on in life when the end result looks so far away. To get to $100,000, you'll need to put in some serious elbow grease, which means putting up the bulk of the funding yourself. Once your portfolio gets a fair chunk, compound interest begins to work marvels. Albert Einstein has called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. However, as effective as compounding is, it requires a significant amount of cash to make a material impact. The percentage gains may remain constant, but the dollar amount gains will grow substantially. For instance, a 10% return on a $5,000 investment after 1 year is $500, which is a very small amount. When put in this context, $500 seems like little, but it can be earned by working a few additional hours here and there. A 10% return on a $100,000 investment is $10,000, which is a terrific beginning to replacing your salary. As soon as it hits $1 million, A 10% yearly return is $100,000, which is quite a large sum of money. That's a lot more money than most individuals make in a year, and it's fascinating to witness such rapid expansion. People claim that when their portfolio reaches $100,000, they can actually see the growth of their investments. The pace at which the snowball expands quickens after it started rolling. As your investment account balance climbs to a substantial sum, you'll feel a surge of enthusiasm that may help you reach your goal much more quickly. In other words, the incentives are so great that you'll start seeking for methods to build your portfolio faster. You might seek for methods to enhance your income so that you can contribute more to these assets. You might also try to find more lucrative opportunities in order to speed up growth. Likewise, you'll think twice before going out to dinner and spending $100 for a couple of hours. The more you learn about compound interest, the more it will make you think twice before making a purchase. This is because you'll see how much that initial $100 may increase and continue to reward you over time if you invest it.
What happened was, my pitifully small earnings as a young man, I kept underspending them, and I kept investing fairly boldly and fairly smartly.
If you go out to eat and spend $100, for instance, that $100 is gone forever. You could have earned $10 the first year if you had invested that money, $11 the second year, and $12 the third year. Although $100 a month may not seem like much now, if you make it a habit to save that much every month across a variety of categories, you'll soon see the results. It will become more clear that as your money grows, so do your alternatives. Numerous opportunities open up to you that would be out of reach to someone living paycheck to paycheck if you have $100,000 in savings. You have enough funds to take a chance on a job with uncertain salary if you find one with better earning potential or room for growth. You may be making $50,000 a year at your current position, but an opportunity arises up that has the potential to pay $100,000 or more annually, but does so via commission alone. Perhaps you've always wanted to start a business, but lacked the cash or money to fall back on, in which case taking such a risk isn't viable. The new business may earn you millions of dollars, but if you can't get started, it's a lost opportunity. Perhaps a fantastic opportunity in real estate comes up, and you have the chance to buy a house at a substantial discount from its market price. But doing so involves a significant amount of risk. It's not always the right approach to liquidate your assets, but if you have enough savings, it might be worth it to take a chance. You may always choose not to, but knowing that choice is there is still better than not having it at all. When one has just a little amount of savings, one's options become significantly constrained. With a larger financial cushion, not only can you take advantage of more possibilities, but you can also spend with more daring. If you have some spare cash and think there's promise in a stock, you may afford to be more speculative about it, knowing that even if it doesn't pan out, you probably have other assets you can fall back on. You have enough money saved up.
We think about worst cases all the time, and then we add on a big margin of safety.
People with little financial resources would not be able to consider such an investment. If you're still trying to reach the $100,000 mark, there are certain things you may do to speed up the process. Since the big chunk of these resources will come from your own contributions, increasing the amount you're saving is the most effective strategy to accelerate the process. If you want to be able to save more money on a regular basis, you need to raise your income. This may be done by taking on a second job on the weekends or a few nights a week. Consider launching a side business to supplement your income. Avoid frivolous purchases at all costs. Ask yourself whether you'd rather save that $100 for a day out or spend it on a special occasion out. Keep in mind that you only need to be so frugal with your spending until you've reached your goal and can relax a little. To avoid becoming one of the many individuals who will never make it to $1 million, you should avoid making hefty payments on cars you don't need. It will be simpler to simply keep doing what you're doing after you've been familiar with the process of saving and investing. By the time you have accumulated a sizable sum of money, you will be used to conserving some of it and putting the rest of your earnings to good use. You'll get into the habit of giving each purchase some serious consideration, asking yourself whether it's really required or if you'd be better off putting the money into savings. You will also be more willing to take calculated risks while investing throughout various market cycles, which might help you learn to take advantage of them. Charlie Munger says that after you hit the $100,000 threshold, you may let off a little. The next million is still a significant milestone, but when you reach it, investing will become much simpler since compound interest will have replaced much of your initial savings. The next time you're worried about how tough it is to increase your net worth, remember that it becomes easier, more fun, and more rewarding with time. For more advice on how to manage your finances to become financially free, watch this video.